Ever felt like Texas law is just this like huge maze? You're kind of walking blind, not sure what's what. Maybe you hear words like felony, misdemeanors, maybe assault, burglary. But what do they actually mean? It's not just words, right? It's real life, real consequences. And yeah, for a lot of us, real chances for a fresh start.
Yeah, and look, a lot of folks think you got to be a lawyer to get this stuff. Or, that the whole system's built to confuse you. But honestly, the law, deep down, it's just a set of rules. Rules we can all understand.
Okay, so what is a crime here in Texas? How do they group them? What are all those chapters about? We're going to break it all down. Seriously, by the end of this, you'll have a clear map of the Texas Penal Code. You'll know what's what. Welcome back, y'all. Today we are walking through the Texas Penal Code. It's this huge document, but it touches so many lives here. We'll look at how it's set up, the kind of crimes it talks about, and why knowing this stuff is just, well, it's critical for your freedom, for your future.
Right. And this isn't about memorizing law books. It's about getting the logic, the why behind it all. It's about clarity. So you can handle things with confidence or just understand the world around you better. That knowledge, that's part of restoration.
And we promise we're keeping it super simple today, like explaining it to an 8-year-old. No fancy law talk unless we break it right down immediately. So let's start at square one. The basics. The Texas Penal Code, it's split into 12 main parts, right? They call them titles.
Exactly, like big chapters. And Title I, it's called Introductory Provisions. It basically sets everything up. It tells you what important words mean, like act or actor, who did what. And it also covers the basics, like where Texas law even applies. The ground rules.
Ground rules? Like what kind of ground rules are we talking about? What's important there for the average person?
Yeah. Well, a big one is the burden of proof. Title I kind of reminds everyone it's the state, right? They have to prove someone did something wrong beyond a reasonable doubt. That's huge. It's like your main protection built right in. It also talks about jurisdiction, where the rules count, and defenses, exceptions. So yeah, more than just definitions, it's about fairness from the jump.
Okay, that burden of proof thing, that's powerful. So Title I lays the groundwork. Where next? Does it get into who's actually responsible?
Yeah, that leads straight into Title II, General Principles of Criminal Responsibility. And this part is really interesting. It's all about when the law says someone is actually responsible for a crime, it digs into that idea of mens rea. Fancy Latin, but it just means guilty mind. Were they trying to do it? Did they know what they were doing? Or maybe they were just reckless or negligent. It matters.
So mens rea, that's not just for lawyers then. It means your intent, what was going on in your head, that's just as important as what you did. That's where your story meets the law, maybe find some justice that's not just black and white. And Title II covers defenses too, you said.
Exactly right. It outlines key defenses, self-defense, defending someone else. Maybe you were forced, duress, or things like insanity, or maybe you just made a mistake about the facts. It sets the bar for when someone isn't held responsible, even if something happened. Super important.
Okay, then we hit Title III. Punishments. So Titles 1 and 2 are the rules and who plays by them. Title 3 sounds like consequences time.
Oh, absolutely. Title 3 is where you find the consequences. It lays out all the levels, From a Class C misdemeanor, maybe just a fine dash, all the way up to a capital felony. The most serious stuff. But here's something people miss. Title 3 also has rules that can make punishments tougher. Enhancements. It's not like everyone gets the same sentence for the same crime label. If someone has prior convictions, maybe a lot of them, they might be a habitual offender. That means the penalty can jump way up. It shows the system, looks at your history, the whole picture, not just the one act.
Right, so Titles 1, 2, and 3, they're like the instruction manual for the whole penal code. Definitions, responsibility, consequences, the whole framework. Okay, now let's get into the actual crimes. Title 4, inchoate offenses. The word inchoate, kind of fancy. What's that about?
Yeah, inchoate just means incomplete, not finish. So Title IV is about crimes that someone started or planned, even if they didn't actually pull it off. And it's interesting because the law says, hey, even trying or planning something bad can be dangerous enough to punish, catching someone with the plans and the tools, even if they didn't finish the job yet.
Gotcha. Can you give us a real-world example, what falls under Title IV?
Sure. Criminal attempt is a big one, like trying to break into a place but getting spooked and running off. Still an attempt. Or conspiracy planning a crime with somebody else. Even if you don't do it, the planning itself can be a crime. It also covers asking someone else to commit a crime for you, that's solicitation, or just having burglary tools, stuff like that. It's about stopping things early.
Makes sense. Okay, next up, Title V. Offenses against the person. Sounds like crimes that hurt people directly. Very personal.
Definitely. This is where you find really serious stuff because it's about someone's body, their safety. We're talking criminal homicide murder, manslaughter, kidnapping, sexual offenses, and all kinds of assault, from simple assault up to aggravated assault, depending on how bad the injury was or if a weapon was used. The law really focuses on protecting people here.
And Title VI is about family, offenses against the family, protecting the closest people.
Exactly. This title deals with protecting family relationships and responsibilities. So serious things like family violence, assaulting a family member, child abuse, even trafficking, but also things like bigamy, marrying someone when you're already married, or not paying child support, which is criminal non-support. It's about accountability within the family unit.
Okay. And then for this block, Title VII, offenses against property. This is probably what pops into most people's heads when they hear crime, right? Stealing stuff.
Yeah, probably. Title VII is huge. It covers basically anything that messes with someone's property or their money. So theft is in here, stealing a car, shoplifting, identity theft, all that. Also arson, setting fires, burglary, breaking into buildings, vandalism, or criminal mischief, as it's called. And then there's all the fraud stuff, too. Forgery, bad checks, credit card abuse, even newer things like computer crimes, hacking, money laundering. It protects our stuff, basically.
All right, before we move on and wrap up our walk through the penal code, let's take a quick break. Listen up, y'all. This part of our conversation is brought to you by Erasio Record. It's your go-to 10-step DIY guide to expunge or seal your Harris County criminal record, and you can do it without paying for an attorney. If you've got charges that are eligible and you really want to take control of your future, Erasio Record guides you through every single step, filing the petition, handling court fees, all the way to getting that record sealed. No fluff, no middlemen, just clear steps. Visit ErasierRecord.com and call 832-537-4432 to grab your guide today. Start fresh. Again, that's ErasierRecord.com. Okay, we're back. We've covered the basics, the rules, crimes against people, crimes against property. What's left? How does the code keep society, running?
Good question. We pick up with Title VIII, offenses against public administration. This one's all about protecting the government itself and public servants. Think bribery, trying to influence officials, or perjury, lying under oath, tampering with witnesses or evidence. Basically, anything that messes with how government is supposed to work, honestly. Even escaping from custody falls under this. It keeps the system itself safe.
Okay. Then Title IX, offenses against public order and decency. That sounds like keeping the peace in public.
Pretty much. It's about conduct that disturbs the community or violates basic standards of decency. So disorderly conduct like fighting in public or making unreasonable noise, public intoxication, rioting, things related to prostitution or obscenity are often in here too. It's about maintaining a certain level of order and respect in shared spaces.
Good, yeah. And Title X is offenses against public health, safety, and morals. Sounds like big picture stuff affecting everyone.
Yeah, this one hits close to home for a lot of folks. It covers rules about weapons carrying them, using them improperly, gambling offenses, and really importantly, intoxication offenses. DWI, driving while intoxicated, is a big one here. These laws are aimed at preventing harm to the whole community, keeping roads safe, that sort of thing, protecting public health.
Right. Okay, almost there. 2 titles left. Title 11, organized crime, and Title 12, terrorism. These sound like they deal with the really major threats.
They absolutely do. Title 11 zeroes in on criminal gangs and organized groups. Things like racketeering, running an ongoing criminal business, engaging in organized criminal activity. It gives law enforcement tools to go after these structured groups. And Title 12, terrorism, that addresses state-level terrorism crimes. Acts meant to scare or force the government or the public. These 2 titles tackle those large-scale, serious threats to society.
Wow. Okay, so that's the whole Texas Penal Code broken down.
Yeah.
All 12 titles. But let's bring it back home. Why does knowing this map, this structure, matter for you? Especially if you're looking for that fresh start.
Because look, it gives you the full picture. You see what the law actually says is criminal in Texas. You don't just know what an offense is, but you see how it fits, where it sits in the grand scheme of things. And that clarity, man, that's empowering. Whether you're figuring out your own past, trying to help somebody you care about, or just want to be an informed citizen, knowing the rules helps you understand justice, accountability, and it opens the door for real redemption, true restoration. It connects knowledge to your journey.
It really is about having that knowledge to make good choices, protect yourself, and really grasp what that path to restoration looks like. Knowledge is power, right? It lights the way.
So if the penal code is set up for clarity, for fairness, what's our responsibility then? To know these laws, to understand how they work in our own lives, our communities.
Yeah, and how can really getting this structure, How can that change how you look at second chances? At Starting Over,
Right.
for those of you in Harris County, if you're ready now, ready to take control, start that journey to freedom, get that clean record, go to legal-gangsta.com. Get your 10-step Erase Your Criminal Record Guide there. That's legal-gangsta.com. And for everybody listening, if you want more truth, more clarity, more confidence dealing with the criminal justice system here in Texas, just remember, your path forward, it starts with understanding. It starts with knowledge.
Visit legal-gangsta.com. That's legal-gangsta.com. We're here to educate, empower, and equip you, one truth at a time, rooted in kingdom values. Until next time, stay informed, stay confident, and always remember your restoration is possible.